An open economy is a type of economy where not only the domestic factors, but it also allows other countries to engage. When you start trading outside, there's always a difference in terms of the interest rate between your country, that's a home country. Countries also carry forward in terms of trade balances. So all these things have to be looked together. Good morning and welcome to the revision class of 2nd PUC Macroeconomics, Chapter 12, where we're going to speak about open economy. Now, this is a very interesting chapter where we're going to have the agenda like this: the chapter introduction, the chapter weightage, question types, questions and answers. Now, the weightage for this particular chapter is you will get one question in the 1 marker, then you will have 2 markers, you're going to get 2 questions coming up there, followed by a 4 markers that's going to come up there. That's also very important. So that is where we are going to see that the weightage is about 4 plus 2, 6 plus 1, 7 marks coming in from this particular area altogether. Now let's get on to the chapter very clearly, where we're going to talk about what is an open economy. First of all, an open economy is a type of economy where not only the domestic factors, but it also allows other countries to engage into trade and related activities altogether. So whenever we are talking about Dubai, we are talking about countries like Singapore, what they have adopted in the long run is that they have made their boundaries free enough, open enough, so that everybody can come in, set up their office and do trade with them. So what happens because of this is that they get a technology transfer, they get the best of the human resource, they get the best in terms of education, healthcare, probably every other sector. The open economy promotes business and development, plus it helps you to grow your economy many times more. So that's why open economy is the answer to the future economic growth of a developing country like India. Followed by, what is the chapter summary? We're going to talk about some devaluation, which means to say that how currencies are being valued and devalued altogether. The net exports, the final export value that goes out of the country. Demand for domestic goods, what is the demand for your goods that are being produced in your country, followed by the factor called as the open economic multiplier, where you get a chance to multiply your exports through by trading with other countries. Depreciation in terms of the value of rupee as well as in terms of export. Interest rate differential. Why? Because when you start trading outside, there's always a difference in terms of the interest rate between your country, that's a home country, and the foreign country. Followed by the exam corner, where we're going to talk about what do you mean by an open economy. An open economy is one in which interacts with other countries through various channels. That means to say that the word various channels is basically trying to contact, trying to develop a relationship from different aspects, different angles as far as possible. Now, whenever we say that it's an open economy, that means there is a chance for any country to trade freely with other countries and develop their business aspects. Followed by balance of payment. The word itself is very simple here, balance of payment. So balance of payment records the transaction in goods, in services and transfer payments. Many a times there might be a situation where you might have paid less or you might have paid more. So we will keep a record of transaction between 2 countries saying that how much is in balance in terms of the payment, in terms of the records altogether. Followed by balance of trade. It is a difference between the value of exports and the value of import of goods of a country in a given period of time. So the difference between import and export, that's the keyword I want you to catch. Why? Because whenever we are talking about the difference, the value of the difference between export and import of a good is very important, as we are giving in terms of that factor. Followed by, what do you mean by fixed exchange rate? In a fixed exchange rate, the government fixes the exchange rate at a particular level. That's very, very important for all of us to know here. Why? Because in this exchange rate system, the value of rupee is fixed against dollar, against euro, against any other foreign currency. So whenever our currency is going to be traded at the global levels, that means the rate of rupee is already fixed and we are going to trade at that particular level only. Followed by, next question is, why do people demand for foreign exchange? People demand for foreign exchange because they want to purchase goods and services from other countries. They want them to be sent abroad for their children to study or for any other business purpose. They want to purchase financial assets of other country. So primarily, foreign exchange is in demand for a transactional purpose as well as for an investment purpose altogether. So the demand for foreign exchange arises from various needs of customer located in different corners of the world. Followed by, what is a foreign exchange rate? So that is the rate at which your currency is fixed against another currency by the government as well as by the international standard systems. So whenever you are saying that the price of dollar versus rupee, so when I say that what is the value of $1, let's say it is 82 rupees 90 paise or 83 rupees against the Indian rupee. So that is the system that fixes the value of dollar versus rupee, so that whenever you are going in for international tour or travel, the foreign exchange is always a system that calculates your value versus the foreign country. Followed by, write a note on the balance of trade. So balance of trade, as I've told you, that is a difference between the import and the export value. So it might be either bought in terms of credit or you might have paid it in terms of cash. But we need to know where is the balance remaining in terms of the payment system altogether. So many a times you might be surprised to see that countries also carry forward in terms of credit. Countries also carry forward in terms of trade balances. So all these things have to be looked together. Followed by the merits and demerits of a flexible and fixed exchange rate system. The main feature of the fixed exchange rate system is that the government will be able to maintain the exchange rate at a specific level. So if there is a deficit in the balance of payment, government will have to intervene. Government will have to intervene there and take care of the reserves. So this gives a speculation for devaluation also, and it leads to various speculative attacks on the currency. So that's one of the reasons why we look into the factors of fixed exchange rate system as a secondary. On the other side, when we look into the flexible, which is much more appreciated, what happens here is that they don't have to maintain large stocks of the cash piles or gold or any other reserve. What happens here is that the exchange rate automatically moves with the demand and supply versus the global currencies in the system. So what means to say that countries would start gaining independence by themselves, and the monetary policies would also become flexible, where they try to accommodate the changes that are going on so that we are able to track, we are able to believe how things are moving in place. Now, most important thing is that it gets automatically taken care of with the market fluctuation, the market demand and supply that's going on. Now, this is a very important question, though the 6-mark question is not being asked many times, but then we have found that they ask you about the components. So this is the capital account. Under capital account, you will have investments. Under investment, direct investment and portfolio. Under direct investment, FDI, equity, capital market, all those things will come in portfolio. When we talk about the foreign institutional investors, offshore funds, external borrowings, the commercial borrowings that we take from the different institution, external assistance, intergovernmental aid, bilateral loans and relationships, followed by the current account factor. The current account is trade in goods, trade in services and the transfer payments, which comes in forms of export and import. In services, net factor goods and the non-net factor. Non-net factor is shipping, banking, insurance and tourism. Probably this sector has got more revenue in India compared to that of the net factor. Why? Because these are all the emerging sectors for India, and you will see that the money that is made through shipping, banking, insurance, tourism, software, they generate a huge amount of revenue in terms of services sector. That's where the contribution to GDP is also higher, followed by transfer payments, where we talk about gifts and remittances. Now, there is one project-oriented question. Probably this question is not exactly from the open economy itself, but this is a question which is related to both open economy as well as the government budget system. But I'm going to talk about this demonetization factor. This is a very, very generic question. This is not related to a particular chapter. But then there are chances when they might ask you, what is demonetization? Now, we all know that demonetization is a process by which you undervalue or completely reduce the value of your own currency. Now, in the year 2017, we all remember that the 500 rupee note and the 1000 rupee notes were completely banned in India in order to bring a check on the black market, that is on the corruption money altogether. So, in order to reduce the black money in India, the government itself demonetized. That means they completely reduced, they zeroed the value of 500 rupee note and 1000 rupee note in India. They banned it in terms of usage and circulation so that all the black money could be arrested in India. This was a very, very crucial step that was taken by the government in order to reduce corruption and the black money that has been held in different forms and format of cash altogether. Now, this step was quite crucial. Why? Because initially it pulled down the value of rupee. There was a lot of chaos in the system. The government had to introduce new 500 and a 2000 rupees into the system. So there was a whole lot of liquidity injunction also coming back into the system. So the demonetization actually created a new financial chapter in the Indian economy. With that, we come to the end of this particular chapter. I hope and believe that all the functions, all the points that have been told in this chapter would have been of great value and also resource to you in terms of exam as well as in the practical walk of life. With this, we come to the end of all the revision of all chapters in both micro and macro economics. I hope and believe that you will take these points and do the best in the upcoming examination. All the best to all my students who are writing economics exam in the coming second PUC examination. Thank you once again for joining me on this wonderful session.